Disclaimer, this video is for entertainment and informational purposes only. The U.S. tax code and related topics are very complex. I'm just a random duke with a YouTube channel. Please consult a tax professional before doing any tax loss harvesting. Got losses? Is your portfolio bleeding? This bear market has been rather nasty, hasn't it? Is there anything that we can do aside from look helplessly at our portfolios while they go down and down each week? I mean, not even covered calls can do much to soften the blow. So is there anything that we can do? Well, there are a couple of things I can think of. For those of us in the accumulation phase of our investment journey, we can get more shares at these cheaper prices. Yes, from this perspective, stocks are on sale and it's time to buy, baby. I discussed this in my video titled "The Bear Market is Here, What to Do." I'll leave a link to that video in the description below. But is there anything else we can do to take all the recent redness in the market and turn it into an opportunity? Why, yes. Yes, there is. See, if we have losses in a taxable brokerage account, we can take advantage of something called tax loss harvesting. This is where we harvest our capital losses to offset our capital gains that we might have in the current tax year or even in future tax years. In other words, we take advantage of our losses to pay less taxes. I know that sounds very exciting and sexy and all, but before we go any further, we need to make sure that we understand a few things. Tax loss harvesting can only take place within a taxable brokerage account, not a tax-advantaged account such as a 401k or IRA. Investopedia describes taxable accounts like this. These accounts don't have any tax benefits, but they offer fewer restrictions and more flexibility than tax-advantaged accounts such as individual retirement accounts and 401ks. So tax loss harvesting only applies in a regular plain old brokerage account for which any buying or selling that you do in that account has tax consequences and therefore must be reported to the IRS. Let's also make sure that we understand the concept of capital gains and capital losses. The IRS describes them like this. When you sell a capital asset, the difference between the adjusted basis in the asset and the amount you realize from the sale is a capital gain or a capital loss. So if we make an investment in a stock or a group of stocks, like a fund, that investment will either go up or down from the point we buy it. This is called a capital gain if the investment goes up in value, or a capital loss if it goes down in value. Easy enough. Now if we have a gain or a loss and we don't do anything about it, like we don't sell it, this is called an unrealized gain or loss. Sometimes you'll hear it called a paper gain or paper loss, meaning that it happened on paper, or in this day and age, on your computer screen. It's just numbers on the screen, but we didn't actually realize or take the gain or take the loss by selling the investment. Investopedia describes an unrealized loss like this. An unrealized loss is a paper loss that results from holding an asset that has decreased in price but not yet selling it and realizing the loss. They also say, for tax purposes, a loss needs to be realized before it can be used to offset capital gains. So once we sell, our investment just got real, at least in the eyes of the IRS, because we realized our gain or realized our loss, and that must be reported to the IRS when we file our taxes. For example, if you sell an investment for a gain or loss in 2022, that is reported to the IRS on your 2022 income tax. When we tax loss harvest, we realize losses intentionally to wipe out capital gains. Pretty simple, but there are a few rules and limits to be aware of. For example, let's say we harvest $10,000 in capital losses and we have $3,000 in capital gains in that same year. The $3,000 in capital gains are wiped out. We're left with a $7,000 deduction with no additional capital gains to apply it to. With that $7,000 deduction, we can apply $3,000 of it against our ordinary income. This will reduce our taxable ordinary income by $3,000, but that still leaves us with $4,000. Well, in this example, we can't do anything else with that $4,000 in the same tax year, but we can carry it over to the next tax year, and that $4,000 can be used to wipe out $4,000 of capital gains from that next tax year. Or if we don't have capital gains, we can use another $3,000 deduction against our ordinary income, and in that example, we would still be left with $1,000 of carryover to the next tax year. Now, this carryover situation is pretty interesting, and it means that if you have a huge capital loss in one year, you may be in the situation where you're carrying over that deduction from year to year until it's all used up. One rule that we really want to be aware of is the wash sale rule. This rule states that we can't sell an investment for a loss and then buy the same or a, quote, substantially identical, end quote, investment 30 days before or after the sale. If we do break this rule, sell our investment for a loss and then buy it back before 30 days, then we're triggering the wash sale rule and the IRS can disallow our capital gain offset. They can say it doesn't count. And so this leaves us with two options basically. Option one, we can sell our investment and then sit on the cash for more than 30 days and then buy it back again. This might work out just fine, but what happens if the investment goes up in value in those 30 days and now you're buying it back at a higher price? That definitely could be a problem. So that leads us to option number two. We can exchange the investment for one that is not, in the IRS's words, substantially identical. When we sell our investment for a loss, we can buy back one that is not the same, but kind of similar maybe. For example, maybe we're invested in the NASDAQ, in the QQQ ETF, and we sell that for a loss and turn around and buy SPY, which is an ETF that tracks the S&P 500. So these are similar in that they are stock funds that tend to go up and down along with the broader US stock market, but they are tracking very different indexes, and so this would likely count as something that's not substantially identical. Option number two, in my opinion, is the better choice for a few different reasons. One is it lets us stay invested, we can maintain our desired asset allocation, and we can avoid buying back the stock at potentially a higher price after 30 days. So as you can see, a down market like this is a year where we likely have capital losses, and this gives us an opportunity to take advantage of tax loss harvesting to reduce our income taxes. You don't have to wait for a market meltdown to take advantage of tax loss harvesting, but with US stocks down like they are, and international stocks down even more, now seems like as good a time as any to take a look around our taxable brokerage accounts and find some losses that can be harvested for tax loss purposes. Yes, this is one of those when life gives you lemons, make lemonade type of moments. That's how you take advantage of the tax loss harvesting opportunity. Give that bear a poke in the eye. So how about you? Have you done any tax loss harvesting? If you have, how did it work out? If not, are you interested in trying it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. All right, that's what I have for you in this video. Remember to subscribe to my channel for more videos on saving, investing, and early retirement. Thanks for watching.